It started with one sentence, a single, offhand remark during a podcast that Joe Rogan himself never expected would detonate across the internet like wildfire. But within hours, it did, and by morning, Rogan's name was trending worldwide alongside a woman many had never paid attention to before. Erika Kirk, the poised, camera-ready widow of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. Something's not right about her, the guest had said, leaning closer to the mic. There's a darkness behind that perfect image and I can prove it. The studio fell silent. Even Rogan, usually quick to laugh or challenge, didn't speak. The tension was sharp enough to slice through the air. When he finally leaned back and muttered, "Wait, what do you mean by that?" The guest smiled, a strange, uneasy smile, and what followed left millions reeling. Within minutes of the episode going live, clips began to circulate. The expert, a former political insider turned whistleblower, claimed that Erika had been quietly orchestrating a network of influence that reached far beyond her late husband's legacy. He hinted at secret meetings, strange financial patterns, and a series of psychological tactics used to manipulate high-profile circles in both media and faith communities. Rogan's audience was stunned. Many called it the most chilling conversation ever aired on his show. Others accused the guest of defamation. But those who knew Erika personally, friends, former colleagues, even her family, began to react in ways no one expected. Some defended her fiercely, while others disappeared from social media overnight. By the next morning, reporters were stationed outside her gated property in Franklin, Tennessee. Neighbors described seeing unfamiliar cars parked at odd hours. One even claimed to have heard shouting late into the night. And when Erika finally broke her silence with a cryptic message on her Instagram story, truth has a way of showing itself, even when you're not ready for it. Fans were left even more confused. What was this truth she was referring to? Why did Rogan seem so visibly disturbed even days after the episode aired? And what secrets had the so-called expert uncovered about the woman many had once called the First Lady of conservative faith? This wasn't just another celebrity scandal. This was the kind of story that blurred the line between politics, faith, and manipulation, a story that reached into the private heart of a movement built on image and control. As one insider later told a local journalist, if what he said is even half true, Erika Kirk isn't who any of us thought she was. And Joe Rogan, he just opened Pandora's box. The world was watching now. And behind the polished smile, Erika Kirk's perfect world was beginning to crack. Under the sharp studio lights, Joe Rogan leaned forward, his brow tense, eyes fixed on the guest who had just turned his entire studio into a furnace of suspicion. The man's tone had shifted from calm explanation to something darker, almost confessional. He spoke slowly, as if aware that every syllable would be dissected by millions. "You think you know Erika Kirk," he said. "But everything you've seen, the speeches, the charity events, the interviews, it's all choreography. It's not real." Joe stayed quiet, letting the silence stretch. His producers, behind the glass, exchanged glances. They could feel the temperature of the room change. The guest went on, "When Charlie died, everyone thought Erika stepped back out of grief. She didn't. She stepped back to rewire everything." His words carried weight. And when he leaned closer to the microphone, his voice dropped. "What I'm about to tell you, people have been warned not to say it." Joe's fingers tapped on the desk, slow and rhythmic. "You're saying she's running something?" The man nodded. "Not running." The clip would later go viral for that single word, controlling. It replayed endlessly on social media, dissected frame by frame. People slowed down the footage to watch Joe's eyes widen slightly, the tightening of his jaw, the barely perceptible moment he realized this conversation was about to spiral far beyond his comfort zone. The guest claimed he'd been invited years ago to one of Erika's private faith dinners, gatherings that blended scripture, strategy, and silence. He described rooms where phones were confiscated, candles burned for hours, and discussions focused not on salvation, but on persuasion, how to shape minds, how to influence movements without ever appearing to lead them. "She knew what people wanted to hear," he said. "She could make a pastor weep and a senator confess his doubts. It was never religion, it was theater." The internet exploded. Fans were divided. Some said it was blasphemy to drag a widow's name through the dirt. Others began to connect dots that had always been in plain sight but never questioned. Her partnerships, her sudden access to political figures, her control of her husband's posthumous foundation. The story began to twist through every corner of the online world, fed by anonymous threads and screenshots claiming to reveal private emails and unverified documents. By the end of the week, Erika's name had been mentioned on every major talk show. Commentators debated whether Joe had gone too far in airing the episode. "He didn't say it." One host argued. "He just didn't stop it." Others insisted that Joe's silence was complicity, that, by allowing the guest to speak, he had endorsed every dark insinuation. In Tennessee, cameras crowded the gates of her estate. Footage showed Erika stepping out briefly to collect a package, sunglasses covering half her face, her movements fast and deliberate. No statement, no smile, only a brief glance toward the flashing lenses before she disappeared behind the black iron gate. That night, Joe uploaded a short clip to his Instagram story, a dimly lit studio. No caption, only the faint hum of static in the background. Followers flooded the comments. Is he scared? One wrote. Another replied, something's off. Why hasn't he spoken since the episode? 3 days later, the guest vanished. No public appearances, no updates. His social media accounts were deleted. A post from his assistant claimed he'd gone off-grid for safety reasons. That was when rumors began circulating that Joe himself had been warned to stay quiet. A producer reportedly received an anonymous voicemail saying, "You opened something you can't close." Inside the studio, staff described an uneasy atmosphere. Some said Joe was unsettled, replaying the interview repeatedly, studying Erika's reactions in old footage, searching for signs he might have missed. Others said he regretted airing it at all. You could tell it was bothering him. One crew member later revealed, he'd come in late, sit in the dark, and just stare at the sun. He'd mutter things like, "Why did she react like that? Why didn't I cut it sooner?" Meanwhile, Erika's closest friends began to fracture. One woman, a longtime collaborator, publicly distanced herself, posting a vague message that read, "Sometimes silence is safer than truth." Another friend deleted every photo of Erika from her account, replacing them with verses about deception and divine justice. Fans took screenshots of everything, weaving their own theories about betrayal and manipulation. Within the week, a strange email began circulating among media outlets. It was unsigned, written in short, cryptic sentences. "There is footage," it said. "Watch what she does when no one is supposed to see." Attached was a blurry screenshot from what appeared to be a security camera. Erika in a private chapel, standing before a flickering row of candles, speaking to someone unseen. The image spread like wildfire. Some claimed it was edited, others swore it was authentic. Joe's next episode opened differently. His usual energy was missing. He took a slow breath before speaking. "A lot's been said," he began, "and I want to be clear sometimes. Things come out that none of us expect." He never mentioned Erika by name, but everyone knew. His eyes shifted toward the camera, and for a moment, it looked as if he wanted to say more, but the words stayed trapped behind his teeth. Viewers flooded comment sections demanding clarity. Was she lying? Did he get threatened? What's the truth, Joe? But no one got an answer. The longer the silence stretched, the more sinister it felt. A week later, the whistleblower reappeared in a live stream from an undisclosed location. His face was half hidden in shadow, his voice low and uneven. "They think I'm scared," he said, "but I kept records." He spoke about coded transactions linked to faith-based funding and something he called the Alignment Program. He claimed Erika had created a network that collected psychological data from church members under the guise of spiritual guidance. "It's not about belief," he said, "it's about control." Clips of the live stream reached millions within hours. Hashtags exploded, fans dissecting every word. People who had once admired Erika now questioned everything. Reporters camped outside her properties, journalists requested interviews, and church leaders across the country began issuing statements of denial. Then came the first real twist. A leaked voicemail surfaced. Erika's voice, cold and deliberate. "Tell him if he keeps talking, I'll release what I have on him," she said. The audio was shaky, but unmistakable. She was addressing someone named Mark. No one knew who Mark was, but the internet quickly decided it was the guest himself. Within hours, the clip had reached every major platform. "This is blackmail," one tweet read, garnering 500,000 likes. Asp tweet read, garnering 500,000 likes. Asp. The chaos grew. Joe finally broke his silence again. Not through words, but through action. A new podcast appeared. No title, no description, only the phrase, "For those still listening?" In it, Joe sounded weary, but determined. "I've been told not to continue this conversation," he said. "I've been told to let it die. But when someone tries that hard to bury something, that's when you know it matters." The moment he said that, fans flooded the live chat. "Stay strong, Joe. They can't silence you. We're with you." But others begged him to stop before things went too far. The tension had spilled beyond entertainment. It was beginning to feel dangerous. In the days that followed, several of Joe's sponsors quietly withdrew their ads. No official statements, only vague explanations about rebranding. Insiders whispered that calls had been made by powerful intermediaries, connected to organizations that once supported Charlie Kirk's work. The implication was clear. There were strings being pulled, and Joe had walked straight into a web that had been waiting for him. Erika, for her part, remained silent. She hadn't posted, hadn't appeared, hadn't spoken, until one night, without warning, her Instagram story lit up again. A dimly lit video, her reflection visible in a window, her voice trembling slightly. "You all think you know," she whispered, "but what if I'm the one who was warned?" The clip vanished within minutes, deleted before most followers could see it. But screen recordings ensured it would never disappear entirely. The next morning, Joe's producer reported receiving a package at the studio no return address. Only a flash drive inside. When they played it, the screen flickered to reveal a short video. Erika seated at a wooden table, staring directly into the camera. "There are forces at work you can't imagine," she said softly, "and if he continues, it won't end with me." The video cut to static. Joe ended the next recording early. No outro, no jokes. Only a long sigh before he removed his headphones. Off mic, someone caught him saying quietly, "This is bigger than any of us thought." And that was when the story truly began to unravel. The days that followed felt like a countdown no one could stop. Every morning brought a new leak, a new whisper, a new shadow stretching across what had once been entertainment. Joe Rogan's team tried to maintain some semblance of normalcy, but there was no denying the tension. The phones rang constantly. Journalists, fans, and private investigators all demanded one thing: the truth about Erika Kirk. One night, Joe sat alone in his studio long after everyone had left. The neon sign above the desk glowed faintly, throwing red light across his face. He replayed the mysterious video from the flash drive again and again, pausing on Erika's expression. It wasn't anger or fear, it was something else. Resignation, she spoke, like someone who had accepted her fate before the world even caught up to it. He muttered under his breath. "What did you get yourself into?" Outside, the city slept, unaware that the story was about to twist again. At 3 a.m., an anonymous Twitter account posted a link titled "The Alignment Archives." Within minutes, thousands of users were digging through hundreds of documents, emails, transcripts, and financial ledgers connecting Erika's foundation to a string of organizations that operated under religious charities, except these charities had one strange thing in common. They all funneled donations into psychological research groups, focused on behavioral conditioning. A headline appeared the next morning: Erika Kirk funded human psych studies under religious cover. News anchors read the story in disbelief. Pundits argued over the legitimacy of the documents. And Joe, he stayed silent again. His audience waited for his response, but none came. Instead, another episode dropped, shorter, quieter. "I've seen things I can't explain," Joe said. "This isn't just about money or politics. It's about how far people will go to make others believe in what doesn't exist." His tone was detached, almost frightened. It was clear something was happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, people who had worked for Erika began to break their silence. One former assistant came forward under a pseudonym, telling reporters that Erika ran her team like a cult. "You weren't allowed to question her," the woman said. "She'd tell us that fear was proof we were doing God's work." She called it the circle. Those were her words. Once you were in, leaving wasn't an option. Fans were horrified. Others dismissed it as conspiracy. But every denial only made the mystery deeper. New witnesses emerged daily. One claimed to have attended a closed retreat at Erika's property, where attendees signed non-disclosure agreements before participating in psychological immersion exercises. Another said Erika used confession booths that were secretly recorded and later analyzed for persuasion studies. Joe's team started receiving messages from people claiming to have known Erika before she married Charlie Kirk. One stood out, a man who identified himself as a family acquaintance. His email was blunt. "You think you're uncovering her story? She's letting you..." Joe read it 3 times. The wording chilled him. It implied control, not reaction. And the more he thought about it, the more he realized that Erika had never tried to deny anything outright. She hadn't gone on television to defend herself. She hadn't threatened legal action. She had stayed perfectly still while everyone else unraveled. That afternoon, Joe's producer Jamie found something strange while combing through archived interviews. In a forgotten 2018 clip, Erika spoke on a small faith-based podcast. She smiled politely as the host praised her charitable work. But then, almost casually, she said, "Influence isn't power, it's proof. The moment people start asking who you are, you've already won." The statement felt eerily prophetic now. Rumors swelled that Erika had been seen traveling under an alias. Flight records showed a private jet registered to one of her charities had landed in Montana, then vanished from radar for 6 hours. Theories ran wild. Was she hiding? Or planning her next move? A week later, another unexpected player entered the story, Charlie Kirk's brother, Michael. Until then, he had remained silent, refusing to involve himself in any of the media frenzy. But during a live broadcast with a conservative network, he broke down midway through an interview. "You don't understand," he said, his voice cracking. "She promised she'd protect the family. Now we can't even reach her." The host looked stunned. "What do you mean, you can't reach her?" Michael just shook his head. "They've cut her off. Whoever she's working with, they're controlling everything." The clip went viral within hours. Fans flooded the comments, accusing Erika of manipulation, betrayal, even occult involvement. Hashtags trended Churches began distancing themselves from her foundation. And still, she said nothing. Then, a new video appeared, grainy, filmed in what looked like a warehouse. The whistleblower was back. His voice shook with exhaustion. "I tried to warn everyone," he said. "She's rewriting the story while we're still living it." He claimed Erika had created a media algorithm capable of predicting outrage and steering public emotion. "The more you hate her," he said, "the more control she gets. She designed this whole scandal to feed itself." The idea sounded insane, but people started noticing patterns: how every accusation against her only made her more visible, how donations to her foundation mysteriously doubled after every controversy. It began to feel like the world was trapped in a loop she had written. Joe finally addressed the theory in a special live stream. He spoke directly to the camera, eyes tired but sharp. "I don't know if she planned this," he said, "but something about the timing doesn't feel like coincidence. Every time I try to move on, something else pulls me back in." He paused, running his hand through his hair. "If she wanted attention, she got it. But I don't think that's what this is. I think it's a warning." As he spoke, viewers noticed something strange. On the monitor behind him, a reflection flickered for a split second, a woman's silhouette near the door. Joe didn't react. Maybe he didn't see it, but fans did. Freeze frames filled social media within minutes. Some claimed it was Erika herself, standing silently in the background. Others dismissed it as editing distortion. Either way, the internet lost its mind. Overnight, Joe's studio was flooded with security personnel. Producers whispered about hidden cameras, hacked feeds, and unmarked packages arriving with no sender. One crew member quit mid-shift, saying he couldn't shake the feeling someone was watching from inside the building. 2 days later, Joe received another package. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No logo, no pitch. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No logo, name. Just one handwritten sentence. "You can stop this if you let her speak." That night, Joe went live again, this time visibly shaken. "I don't know who sent this," he said, holding the paper up to the camera, "but whoever you are, you're listening, aren't you?" He looked off to the side as if addressing someone unseen. "If you want to talk, I'll give you the platform. No editing, no interruptions. Tell your side." The chat exploded. Viewers begged him not to do it. "It's a trap. She twisted it. This is how it ends." But Joe ignored them. "If there's even a chance the truth can come out," he said, "we need to hear it." For 2 days, there was silence. Then a message arrived in his inbox. No greeting, no signature, only 2 words. "I'm ready." The email came from an encrypted address traced to a location just outside Nashville. The attached voice memo was unmistakably hers. "You think I'm hiding," Erika said softly, "but I've been waiting for you to stop guessing." Joe's response was immediate. He announced a live broadcast titled, "The Conversation They Tried to Stop." Within hours, every seat in the studio was filled. Security was doubled. Cameras were checked twice. And when the countdown hit 0, the screen faded to black before revealing Joe seated opposite Erika Kirk. She looked nothing like the woman the world remembered. Her hair tied back, no makeup, dark circles under her eyes. She smiled faintly, almost like she pitied him. "You wanted the truth," she said, "but the truth isn't something you find, it's something you survive." Joe leaned forward. "Then let's survive it." The feed cut to static. Viewers were left staring at a blank screen. 5 seconds, 10:30, and then silence. The livestream ended abruptly, leaving millions in shock. The video vanished from Joe's channel minutes later. No replays, no statements, nothing. By morning, rumors swirled that federal agents had entered the studio after receiving an anonymous security alert. No one knew what had happened in that room. All anyone knew was that the interview existed and that someone didn't want it seen. And from that moment on, Joe Rogan disappeared from public view. 3 days passed before anyone heard from Joe again. No uploads, no statements. His studio lights stayed dark. Fans filled comment sections with panic, convinced something terrible had happened. Theories exploded. Some claimed he'd been silenced. Others insisted he was in hiding. A few said they'd seen him at an airport in Texas, wearing a cap and dark glasses, refusing photos. Then, in the early hours of Friday morning, his podcast feed suddenly updated with a new episode. No title, just a single red dot as the thumbnail. When it began to play, there was only static for nearly 20 seconds before Joe's voice came through. Hoarse, tired, almost broken. "I shouldn't be doing this," he said quietly, "but I can't stay quiet anymore. What happened that night wasn't supposed to happen on air." He paused, breathing heavily. "She wasn't what I thought she was, and neither was the story." Listeners leaned in, waiting for him to continue. "Erika didn't come here to confess. She came to warn me," he said. "She said the real truth was never about her. It was about what she'd been protecting." Joe described the moment the cameras went off. According to him, as soon as the live stream cut, Erika told the crew to leave the room. One by one, they stepped out until only Joe and Erika remained. She slid a small black folder across the desk. "Read it," she said. Inside were photos, handwritten notes, and documents stamped with unfamiliar logos. One page in particular made Joe's blood run cold: a list of podcast guests. past and future, with annotations next to their names. Next to his own, someone had written, "Target reached threshold." Joe didn't understand what it meant. I asked her if it was some kind of threat, he said. She shook her head and said, "It's not a threat. It's a measurement. They've been watching how much truth you can handle before you stop asking questions." He laughed bitterly into the mic. I thought she was crazy, until she showed me the recording. Apparently, the flash drive from weeks earlier wasn't the only one. Erika had kept another one that contained hours of unreleased footage from various podcasts, including his own. Hidden camera angles, background audio, even moments before and after interviews when mics were supposed to be off. "Someone's been cataloging conversations," Joe said. "Not just mine, dozens of shows, different hosts, different topics, all connected somehow." Then his tone changed, darker now. She said, "There's a network. People who collect influence the same way data companies collect clicks. Every argument, every emotional reaction, every viral clip, it all gets stored, analyzed, and repurposed to control how audiences think." And she claimed Charlie was part of it before he died. Listeners couldn't believe what they were hearing. The chat feed was overwhelmed with disbelief. Some said Joe had lost it. Others said it explained everything: the sudden sponsorship withdrawals, the strange messages, the vanishing guest. Joe kept talking, voice trembling. She told me Charlie's death wasn't an accident, that he was going to expose what the foundation really did. That's why she took over to contain the fallout. She said she's been trying to destroy it from the inside ever since. He paused for a long time before continuing. She said, "There are recordings of meetings, names I can't repeat." She said she can prove it, but every time she tries to release them, the platforms erase her accounts. She said that's why she needed me. "Because my voice reaches where there's can't." The static crackled again, as if the feed itself resisted what he was saying. "I told her I'd help," Joe whispered. "But when I went to find her the next day, she was gone. Her house was empty. No staff. No signs of a struggle, just gone." He said he called the local sheriff's office, but they claimed no missing person report had been filed. Even stranger, her name didn't appear in any recent property records. It was as if she had never existed. "I went back to the studio," Joe continued, "and there was a note on my chair. No envelope this time. Just the words, 'You did what you were meant to do.'" His voice cracked slightly. "Meant to do what?" he asked. "I don't even know anymore." The episode ended without music, without a sign-off. Just silence. Within hours, conspiracy forums erupted. The phrase "reach threshold" trended across platforms. People claimed to find similar markings in unrelated media. One user posted a screenshot of an old news article where the same phrase appeared in small print beneath a charity logo. Another pointed out that Erika's foundation website redirected to a blank page, containing only one line: "You are not cleared for this level." That's when the fear started spreading. Influencers began deleting old posts connected to Erika. Several journalists who had covered the story reported that their emails were being hacked. One producer from Joe's team posted a cryptic tweet before disappearing from social media: "We triggered something." Meanwhile, a video surfaced on an obscure video sharing site. Grainy footage of a woman resembling Erika sitting in a dimly lit room, speaking softly into the camera. "He thinks he can tell the truth," she said. "But truth doesn't belong to him anymore." The video cut off abruptly, replaced by a single frame of white text on a black screen: "Do not pursue." Fans begged Joe to respond, but he didn't. 2 days later, his studio was seen being packed up. Neighbors reported seeing moving trucks leaving late at night. A journalist who visited the next morning found the building locked, the sign removed, and the parking lot empty. Then, unexpectedly, one final upload appeared on his channel, an audio file only a few minutes long. It began with faint breathing and a rustling sound, as if recorded in a moving vehicle. Joe's voice was low, almost a whisper. "If you're hearing this," he said, "it means they didn't stop it in time. I've got the recordings." She was right about everything. The file ended with a soft metallic click, like a car door closing. No one knew where he had gone. A few hours later, the file vanished, not taken down by YouTube, deleted completely. Even the cached versions were gone. It was as if it had never been uploaded. For a brief moment, the entire internet seemed to hold its breath. Then, as if on cue, Erika's verified Instagram account reactivated. For the first time in weeks, the only post was a black square with white text: "The story isn't over." The caption read, "Episode 2 coming soon." No one knew what it meant. Was she alive? Was it her? Or was someone else using her name to continue the game she'd started? Reporters tried contacting her representatives, but every number led to a disconnected line. Joe's associates refused to comment. And for the first time in his career, even his closest friends admitted they had no idea where he was. Then, a private investigator hired by a media outlet claimed to have traced the signal from Joe's last upload. It led to a remote cabin in Montana, the same region where Erika's plane had once disappeared from radar. When the investigator arrived, the cabin was empty. On the wall, etched into the wood, were the words, "Reach threshold complete." He took a picture, uploaded it to a secure drive, and within minutes, the file corrupted. The story spiraled out of control. News outlets debated whether it was all a staged stunt, a massive social experiment, or something far more sinister. But those who had followed every moment from the beginning could feel it. This wasn't entertainment anymore. Something real had slipped through the cracks, something neither Joe nor Erika ever intended to unleash. And as the weeks passed, the only thing certain was that both of them had vanished, leaving behind a trail of clues that pointed toward a truth no one was prepared to face. Part 4 of the unfolding chaos began with a silence that felt heavier than any argument before. Joe Rogan sat in his studio, the lights dimmer than usual, his expression unreadable. The air was thick, not just with tension but with disbelief. The expert who had dropped the original bombshell about Erika Kirk's hidden agenda was back, but this time, he claimed there was more. Something darker. Something that tied Erika to a secret political network operating under the guise of charity. The entire internet buzzed. Clips of Joe's reaction went viral overnight, showing his jaw clench and his hands grip the mic as if steadying himself for impact. Fans flooded comment sections with wild theories, each more unhinged than the last. The expert leaned closer to the microphone. His voice was low, calm, but every word hit like thunder. "Joe," he said, "what if I told you Erika's mission was never about empowerment? What if the truth is that she's been used, or worse, complicit in something much bigger?" Joe didn't speak. He simply stared, waiting. "You're saying," he finally replied, his voice controlled, but laced with doubt, "that she's part of a manipulation scheme?" The expert nodded slowly. "Not just part of it. She might have been the face of it." Across social media, fans screamed. Some defended Erika, claiming she was too genuine, too soft-spoken to be capable of deceit. Others dug up old footage, moments where she looked away during interviews, laughed awkwardly when politics came up, or subtly changed the topic when money was mentioned. Suddenly, every second of her public life was under a microscope. The narrative shifted overnight. No one was talking about Joe's shock anymore. They were talking about Erika's guilt. Meanwhile, sources close to the Kirk family leaked private messages suggesting that Charlie Kirk himself had warned Erika about certain donations before his death. One screenshot, allegedly from Erika's phone, showed a message that read, "If this gets out, it'll destroy everything." Whether it was authentic or not, the internet didn't care. It spread like wildfire. Even major networks began speculating, blurring the lines between fact and rumor until no one could tell the difference. Inside her home, Erika reportedly broke down. A neighbor told reporters she'd been pacing her living room, phone in hand, crying into it like she was begging someone to listen. "It wasn't supposed to go like this," she was heard saying. "He told me it would never come out." The neighbor claimed she looked terrified, not guilty, but cornered. Then came the twist that no one saw coming. Joe received an anonymous email the next morning. Attached were documents, bank transfers, encrypted messages, and what looked like an internal memo from a private organization called the Network Initiative. The documents suggested large sums of money being funneled through shell charities, one of which listed Erika as a co-signer. Joe called his producer immediately. "This can't be real," he said, pacing across the studio. "This is insane." But the producer, eyes wide, replied, "It matches everything that experts said last night." Joe slumped into his chair. "We're not dealing with gossip anymore," he whispered. "This is dangerous." Fans noticed a shift in Joe's tone on his next episode. The humor was gone. The casual banter replaced with caution. "There are things," he said slowly, "that don't add up, and when you start asking questions, you realize maybe we're not supposed to." It was cryptic, but the message was clear. He was scared, and that fear spread. People started claiming they'd seen strange figures outside Erika's residence. One man swore he saw a black SUV parked there for hours. Another said he saw someone taking photos through her fence. Paranoia spread like a virus. Journalists, influencers, even Joe's team began receiving anonymous warnings. "Stop digging." Still, Joe pressed on. He invited another guest, a former intelligence analyst, to break down the documents. Midway through the recording, the analyst's expression changed. He leaned forward and said quietly, "You need to stop this, Joe. These people don't play games." "Who are these people?" Joe asked. The analyst didn't answer. He just stared into the camera and said, "Turn it off." The screen went black moments later, cutting the live stream abruptly. Fans flooded social media, screaming that something had happened mid. Joe's studio issued a statement hours later, claiming technical issues, but no one believed that. Erika, on the other hand, vanished. Her publicist released a brief message. "Mrs. Kirk is taking time to focus on her health and family. No photos, no appearances, no explanations." It only fueled more chaos. Theories multiplied. Some said she was hiding abroad, others believed she'd entered witness protection. But a week later, a new recording surfaced online. It was an audio clip, allegedly from a private call between Erika and Joe, leaked anonymously. In it, Erika's voice trembled as she said, "Joe, I didn't know the full story. They told me it was charity work. I swear, I didn't know." Joe's response was chillingly quiet. "Then why didn't you tell me about the memo?" Silence. Then a faint whisper. "Because they said they'd come after me if I did." That single line broke the internet. Hashtags exploded, news outlets replayed the audio on loop, and fans began speculating who they were. Joe's face appeared on every thumbnail, his expression tense. His voice clipped as he addressed the chaos in a follow-up episode. "I don't know what's real anymore, but if Erika's telling the truth, then someone's lying and it's not her." By this point, the story had grown beyond control. Politicians were commenting. Activists were taking sides. The Kirk family was reportedly divided. Erika's sister accused her publicly of tainting Charlie's legacy, while an old friend defended her, saying she'd been set up by forces bigger than all of us. The family's private feud leaked through a series of voice notes shared by a tabloid, revealing screaming matches and broken trust. In one leaked recording, Erika's sister shouted, "You destroyed everything he built," and Erika fired back, "You think I wanted this? You think I asked for any of it?" The raw emotion in her voice sent chills down everyone's spine. Meanwhile, Joe found himself at the center of something far more dangerous than a podcast controversy. The more he uncovered, the clearer it became that the expert who started it all wasn't revealing the truth. He was controlling it. His sources, his data, his timing, all too perfect. Whispers began that Joe himself was being manipulated, used as a mouthpiece to expose Erika for reasons beyond entertainment. Fans began questioning everything. Who leaked the documents? Who recorded the call? And most importantly, who benefited from Erika's downfall? Joe's team started noticing their files disappearing from shared drives, their emails bouncing, their archives corrupted. Even Joe admitted on air that his phone had been acting strange lately. The final blow of Part 4 came when a major news outlet published a statement claiming that the entire scandal might be part of an organized smear campaign. Not against Erika. Organized smear campaign. Not against Erika, but against Joe himself? The report hinted at powerful figures seeking revenge for previous episodes that had stepped on the wrong toes. And just when everyone thought the story couldn't twist further, a new video surfaced. Grainy, shaky, but unmistakably real. It showed Erika standing in front of a plain wall, her eyes red, her voice trembling. "They lied to both of us," she said, "and now they want it buried." That was the moment everything stopped. The feeds went silent, the debates froze, and even Joe himself reportedly stayed off air for 3 days. Because whatever came next, everyone knew it wouldn't be just another scandal. It would be the unraveling of something far bigger than anyone had imagined. Part 5 opened in a mood of disbelief. The world had been waiting for Joe Rogan's next move, but for 3 days his podcast remained silent. Fans watched his feed obsessively, convinced something had happened behind the scenes. Rumor after rumor surfaced. Some claimed Joe had been threatened. Others said his studio had been raided. But the truth, when it finally came out, was stranger. Joe reappeared in a low-lit studio, wearing no headphones, speaking directly to the camera. His voice was calm, but there was a flicker of unease in it. "People keep asking why I went quiet," he began. "It's because I needed to be sure what's real. I've seen things I can't explain, and I think we've all been lied to." He leaned forward, eyes tired but steady. Erika didn't just disappear. She was silenced. The words hit the internet like an explosion. Within hours, clips of his face filled every platform. Fans analyzed every pause, every glance, every shadow behind him. They swore they saw someone move in the background during the live stream. Paranoia reached a new level. Hashtags like #WhereIs Erika and #ProtectJoeRogan trended worldwide. Then, out of nowhere, an encrypted file began circulating online. It was titled "The Network Revealed." Inside were names, politicians, business figures, media hosts supposedly connected to the same initiative Erika had been accused of fronting. The document listed meetings, transfers, even photos of private dinners. One of the photos showed Erika sitting beside a man who had since vanished from public view. Joe confirmed on air that the file had been sent to him directly, though he refused to say by whom. But not everyone believed him. Several journalists claimed Joe was playing into a psychological operation meant to discredit him. "It's all smoke and mirrors," one political commentator said, on air. "Rogan's being fed selective information to push a narrative." Others disagreed, insisting that Joe had uncovered something powerful figures wanted hidden. The division tore through his audience. Longtime fans accused each other of being bots or plants, while the internet tore itself apart. A shocking update came from an unlikely source. A man claiming to be Erika's former assistant. He appeared on a live stream, face blurred, voice distorted. Erika tried to back out. He said, "She found out where the money was really coming from. They warned her once. Then they took her phone, her accounts, everything." Joe replayed the clip on his show that night, his voice low. "If that's true," he said, "then we're dealing with something criminal." Meanwhile, another voice emerged, Charlie Kirk's old friend, a pastor who had officiated their wedding. In an emotional interview, he said, "Charlie always told me he didn't trust the people Erika worked with. He said they had too much control, too much money, and too many secrets." That quote alone reignited everything. People started linking old photos, charity records, even timestamps of Erika's social appearances. Each clue seemed to lead to a darker truth. Joe's producers begged him to stop. "We're being watched," one of them whispered during a break. "You don't get it, Joe. They know what you're doing." But Joe didn't stop. Instead, he aired another episode titled The Erika Tapes. He claimed he'd received a second recording, one that would change everything. In the recording, Erika sounded exhausted, her voice trembling. "You were right, Joe," she said, "but it's not just about me. They're in everything: media, charity, even politics. I can't hide anymore." Joe froze when the audio reached a moment of static, followed by what sounded like knocking. Then her voice returned, faint and hurried. "If they find this, they'll know you have it. Be careful who you trust." The internet erupted. Fans dissected the audio, amplifying background noises, convinced they heard another voice whispering Erika's name. Others claimed the clip was fake, digitally altered to stir drama. But something about Joe's shaken demeanor said otherwise. Hours later, a journalist tweeted that federal investigators had opened an inquiry into the network. Official confirmation came shortly after, but what the statement didn't mention was even more disturbing. It made no reference to Erika Kirk or her alleged involvement. Her name had been wiped clean from every public record related to the case. That same night, Joe's power went out mid-recording. Cameras flickered, screens went black. When the feed came back, Joe looked pale, visibly shaken. "Someone just tried to cut our connection," he said. "This isn't coincidence anymore." His team later found their security system had been remotely disabled for 3 minutes, the same time the blackout occurred. Social media went into chaos. Some fans were terrified, others thrilled. "We're watching history," one comment read. "He's getting too close." The next morning, a man claiming to represent the network contacted Joe's show anonymously. His message was brief: "Stop naming names and the tapes disappear." Joe read the message live, defiant. "You think threats scare me?" he said. "We're not stopping." But his voice trembled slightly, betraying the fear underneath. Then came the most shocking twist of all. A security camera video leaked online, allegedly from a hotel in Dallas. In it, a woman resembling Erika Kirk checked in under a different name, wearing sunglasses and a hat. She looked directly into the camera before lowering her head and whispering something that lip readers later claimed was, "Tell Joe they're real." The clip reignited global hysteria. Was Erika alive? Was she hiding? Or was the footage planted to manipulate the narrative? Even Joe didn't know what to believe anymore. On his next show, he admitted, "I don't know who to trust. I don't even know if that was really her. But if it was, then she's trying to tell us something." Meanwhile, leaked messages between Joe and the original expert began circulating online. They revealed that the expert had gone dark, refusing to answer calls or emails. One message from Joe read, "You started this. You owe me answers." The reply, timestamped 2 days later, said only, "It's bigger than both of us. Stay silent if you want to live." Fans were terrified. The story that had started as gossip had turned into a nightmare of corruption, manipulation, and danger. The line between truth and fabrication had blurred completely. Even Joe began questioning his own sanity and, "Maybe we were never supposed to know," he said softly. "Maybe that's why people vanish when they get too close." As the tension reached breaking point, Joe announced one final investigation. "If what we found is true," he said, "then Erika isn't the villain. She's the warning." And with that, he promised his next episode would reveal everything they don't want you to see. But before it could air, something strange happened. His entire studio feed disappeared from the internet. Not just the upcoming episode, all past videos too. The archive that had been built over years was gone overnight. Fans flooded every platform, demanding answers. But Joe's team said nothing. For 48 hours, silence reigned. Until a single message appeared on his official account: "They found me." The post vanished minutes later. But by then, it was too late. Screenshots had already spread, fan theories multiplied, and whispers began circulating that Joe and Erika might have gone underground together. No one could confirm anything, and that uncertainty whether they were victims, partners, or fugitives was exactly what kept the world awake, waiting for part 6. And so here we are, standing at the edge of something that still doesn't make sense. A story that began as a casual conversation on a podcast turned into a spiral of fear, betrayal, and power. Joe Rogan, the man known for asking the questions no one else dares to, found himself trapped in a mystery that blurred the line between curiosity and danger. And Erika Kirk, once seen as a calm and faithful public figure, became the center of a web so dark that no one can say for sure who's controlling it, or why. The silence that followed Joe's disappearance left more questions than answers. Did he uncover something so serious that it had to be buried? Or did the entire story crumble under its own paranoia? Fans have spent weeks dissecting the final clues, building timelines, comparing voices, even tracing flight data to see if Erika might really have escaped under a new name. Every day, a new theory rises and collapses. But the one thing no one can explain is why every trace of the final episode vanished. Who deleted it, and what did it reveal? Some say Joe and Erika were forced to go underground to protect themselves. Others claim they joined forces to expose the entire network from the shadows. The strangest rumor of all came from an insider who said, "They're not gone. They're watching everything. And when the time's right, they'll return." And maybe that's what keeps people hooked. Not just the mystery, but the feeling that it isn't over. Somewhere, someone still knows the truth. Somewhere, a hard drive holds the files Joe wanted the world to see. Somewhere, Erika might still be alive, waiting for the right moment to speak. But until that moment comes, all we have are fragments, the leaks, the recordings, the frightened whispers of people who got too close. And if this story has taught us anything, it's that power hides in plain sight. The ones who seem innocent might be the ones holding the strings, and the ones who look guilty might just be the ones trying to survive. So what do you believe? Was Erika Kirk a victim of something far beyond her control? Or was she part of a plan that spiraled out of her hands? Did Joe Rogan stumble into a secret that could shake entire systems? Or was he caught in an illusion built to silence him? Every detail we've seen could be real, or it could be the perfect distraction. This isn't just a story about two public figures. It's about control. About what happens when truth becomes dangerous. When information turns into a weapon. And when the people who speak it start disappearing one by one. And maybe that's why, even now, fans around the world are glued to their screens, waiting for a sign. Waiting for a message. Waiting for something that feels like closure. But if Joe taught us anything, it's that closure rarely comes. Truth doesn't announce itself. It hides, waiting for someone brave or desperate enough to drag it into the light. And every time you think you've found it, another layer peels back, revealing something deeper, darker, and harder to believe. Maybe that's what this entire saga really is. Not a mystery to solve, but a warning to remember. Because somewhere out there, behind the headlines, the deleted clips, and the anonymous files, someone still knows exactly what happened, and the silence isn't an accident. It's part of the story. So if you've stayed with us this far, through the chaos, the fear, the heartbreak, and the confusion, then this is your moment to decide what you believe. Was it manipulation or exposure? Truth or theater? A setup or a cry for help? Only you can decide which version feels real. And as we close this chapter, one thing remains certain. This isn't the end. The story doesn't end with Joe or Erika. It ends with you, with your curiosity, your doubt, your questions that won't rest. Because maybe that's exactly what they don't want. They don't want people asking. They don't want people connecting dots that were never meant to be connected. So if you think something feels off, it probably is. If you think someone's lying, you might be closer to the truth than you realize. And now, it's your turn. What do you think really happened between Joe Rogan and Erika Kirk? Was it a scandal, a cover-up, or a story bigger than either of them could control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this time, the world deserves to hear what you believe. Make sure to hit that like button if you've been following every twist of this unbelievable story. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss what comes next, because the next revelation could drop at any moment. And when it does, you'll want to be here first. Turn on notifications, stay curious, and stay alert. Because in a world where stories like this disappear overnight, the only way to keep the truth alive is to keep talking about it. And remember, sometimes the most shocking secrets aren't hidden in the dark. They're right in front of us, waiting for someone to finally see them. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay questioning, and until the truth surfaces, keep your eyes open.